Hey, Shalom.
Shalom.
First off, we'd like to say, Call Halal.
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash.
We'd like to give double honors to our elders and apostles of a great millstone who taught us this truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect that's pushing this word in all sincerity and faith throughout the four corners of the earth. Great Millstone Dallas back in another classroom type setting. We just wanted to go into the importance of the father's role within our legacy, and then just how it's been totally flipped in this society that's controlled by Esau Edom. Because Esau Edom, they even know the importance of fathers. That's why they're gung-ho on having sons to carry out their inheritance because of legacy, and then of course certain land rights is tied, to your heirs. So that's why it's important to have a male heir, and that was always our legacy, just of honoring our father. So without further ado, we'll just get a few scriptures, Lord willing, this to edify. We can start off in Sirach or Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 3 and verse 2.
According to Sirach chapter 3 verse 2, it says, "For the Lord hath given the fathers honor over the children, and hath confirmed the authority of the mother over the sons."
Right, which is a commandment. The scripture says that you're supposed to honor your father and your mother, but there's order to everything, and we're not going to marginalize a woman's role either, because we just call it how it is. But the Lord set up order for a reason, man. And the father, patriarch. Let's look up that word, patriarch.
I got you.
Like in the etymology or something.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, but even just like that scripture there, like it says, the Lord hath given the father honor over the children, hath confirmed the authority of the mother over the sons. Because at the end of the day, the mother is the nourisher. She's the one that teaches the children. But how does she teach the children?
Right.
What does she teach them from?
Right.
She teaches them based upon the information and the tutelage of the man.
Right.
You said patriarch?
Okay.
Patriarch. Okay.
Patriarch in etymology online, when you look it up, it says late 12th century patriarch, one of the Old Testament fathers, progenitors of the Israelites.
Man.
Patriarch directly from late Latin patriarchia, from the Greek patriarchis, chief or head of a family.
Chief or head of a family.
Yep, from patria, family, clan. When you look up the word family in the scriptures, it's really talking about a clan. Because a family consists of the head of the household, and it could be some brothers might be up in there, other parts of the family might be up in
In-laws.
there.
Right.
Like when you see a pride of lions.
Kind.
You'll have the one dark-haired lion, but then he'll have his brothers with him. And
right.
They'll have the whole pride with him. Patriarch, patria, family, clan, from pater, father, right? It says pater archeum, to rule.
Right, and that's what I wanted to get. That word archia, it means to rule.
Archeia means to rule. That means, so really pater archeia, or patriarch means rule of the father.
Right, rule of the father.
Yeah.
Which the Most High, we just read, he gives honor to the father. And that gets taken as a light thing in this society, man. Fathers just look at Will Smith, man.
Right.
He's just a notable example to date. But the women, they get heavily pedestalized in this society, man.
Right.
When the Most High set up the father to be the ruler over the household. It ain't no equal partnership, Because you got these women talking about they want a partner in marriage. No, there has to be a ruler that the Most High set up. Yeah, appreciate it.
God, just a quick one. This is the book of Numbers, chapter 1.
Yep, that's
you had
18.
If you had a held, I can wait.
No,
Okay.
Is it 1 and 18?
Yeah, come.
We'll wait for now.
Okay, come.
I got this. Just quick highlight. This is from the book The Israelites by B.S.J. Iserling. When you go into the chapter on social structure, constitutional ideas, and government, page 100, I'm reading down in the subsection tribes, clans, and families. I'm skipping down into the the fourth paragraph. It says, the nuclear family was the smallest unit of kinship. It comprised the householder with his wife or wives and offspring, grandparents, brothers, or uncles who had not set up house on their own might also live with him, thus extending the family circle. In such cases, additional rooms might be added to the standard 4-room house, and later several houses will form a family compound. However, according to recent estimates, the number of persons in an average household was low, nearer 4 than 8 perhaps. High mortality among infants in particular would have tended to limit the size of families. That's false information.
Right.
Over his household, the father of the family would wield patriarchal powers. He would also see the cultivation of the family plot, which would no doubt vary in size in response to the quality of the soil and crops cultivated. An estimate of some 25 acres of arable land per family unit. Imagine that.
Right.
How quickly that can become some serious land, right? A couple of families banding together. Okay. It says, purpose for the early Israelite village may give some idea of the magnitudes involved. It is possible that land was inherited by the oldest son, only chattels perhaps being divided among all of them. That was if I find some more in here, I'll bring it out.
That's
a little bit of an idea.
That's great information. Just going back to patriarchy, rule of the father over his clan, over his kinsmanship. Who gets access to marry his daughters? Because that's important too. The man that his daughter bringing in, because he's coming into his fold. That's gonna either make or break his enterprise. Let's go back to that precept in Sirach 3.
This is back in Sirach chapter 3. I'll read verse 2 again. It says, "For the Lord hath given the father honor over the children, and hath confirmed the authority of the mother over the sons."
Right. So there is an order as far as the role of the woman too. She's over the children, but she's teaching the children the vibration of the father. That's why going back in ancient times, a lot of male children, they carried out the same occupation as their father. Like with the Lord and his father Joseph, carpentry, and then just like Peter and his brother, I think they were fishermen. So most likely their father, that was an occupation that they was into. So that was another level as well, the importance of the father, just to pass down a trade. So and it keeps the house, the enterprise going.
And if I may add, a lot of Israelites, they don't practice that anymore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, not only is the trade of the father not passed down, but a lot of times the father ain't even in the life of the child. You know what I'm saying? Long enough until that child becomes a man. To where they're able to pick up that that trade.
Right, and Esau knows this because that keeps you from gaining any meaningful generational wealth.
Absolutely.
If you can just pass down skills and trades instead of having your kid have to go to college, learn something new,
Yep.
When you already as a family or a clan, you have a trade. You just keep on that legacy, man, and just build it up, And Esau know this, and they move like that, But read verse 3. Yeah.
Okay, continuing on in verse 3, it says, "Whoso honoreth his father maketh an atonement for his sins."
So that shows the importance of the father. It says, "Whoso honoreth his father, making an atonement for his sins," man. So that's important.
You mind if I get a precept, brother?
Go ahead.
This is Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 2. It says, actually I'll start at verse 1. It says, "Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor thy father and thy mother." But it says, "Obey your parents in the Lord." So we have spiritual fathers as well.
Yep.
I don't know if that was one of your.
And that's why we give our spiritual fathers double honors. And you got a lot of these niggas out there talking about we men pleasing and all of that. But this is scriptural, and how much more so through our parents in the spirit, That can bring an atonement for sin, man. Honoring your father, like we just read,
Yep.
The society teaches you that it's okay to pretty much disrespect your parents.
Talk about that.
It encourages.
Oh,
you to do that shit.
That Sirach is
Sirach,
expound on what you just said.
Yeah. This society literally teaches you that.
right?
Like nowadays, you got children. You got children now. Pretty much, the roles are backwards now, man.
That's right.
Children on the parents act like children.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like people, there's videos that you can find online. Of just sons literally beating the hell out their fathers, man. Like fighting them. I seen a video.
Yeah.
This dude, the two sons just jumped their dad, man.
Right.
You know,
Fathers having to negotiate with their children over things that they trying to set as far as order in their house. We had video of one father or the son. They was chasing each other down with guns, man, shooting at each other. So that everything's just completely out of order. But it's all starts with the wicked that's in power. Of course, our disobedience and the Most High use him as a whipping stick. You know, so we don't have like that. Our ancient relationship with our fathers, man. We don't even see it as a big thing,
Right.
and we don't realize the gravity of that honor, man. That's important.
Yep. Because really, if you curse your parents, that's a curse unto you.
it is.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna go back to the Sirach.
Well, more so your father, because Jake, even like with Jake, maybe get drafted or something. I want to thank my mother first. It's always that. It's really no reference. It's here and there, like Lonzo Ball, LeVar Ball's kids. It's only it's small instances where the father gets the reverence he deserves.
And they still, man, Slocky. I'm sorry. No, I was gonna say they still make it seem like that's look pretty much
right.
Lonzo Ball raising his his father, raising their sons to be basketball players. They make it look like as if he's just this tyrant or this asshole,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And he's just this crazy ass man.
Which that don't make you crazy because you're the rule, the father's rule. You're supposed to rule over your household.
Right.
If there's no rule in the household, it's just gonna be complete disorder.
Right.
And that's why things are the way that they are, man. They'll try to put it in this whole feminist agenda, like he's oppressing his wife and the children just because he set a tone in his household.
Masculinity.
Right.
Yeah.
I got a real quick one.
Go ahead.
This is Proverbs 13:22. A good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children. I read it again. A good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children.
Right, but that all starts through that honoring the father, man.
Yep.
Making sure you're mindful of who your heir and how he's being raised up.
If you leave an inheritance to your grandchildren, man, like
right.
that's generational wealth.
Exactly.
That passed down to your children's children, man, so that they good. Like I know Elder Ariella likes to go to a point a lot. A lot of times of us being men, we can't even name our great grandfather.
Right, we don't
even know.
Right.
But like these Edomites, they can look and say, "Oh yeah, this is my great grandfather, such and such."
They got the picture on the wall.
Yeah,
because they honor him. Yeah. Because they know in their mind we wouldn't have any of this wealth without that progenitor, man. So they honor that man.
Yeah.
And they make it known before anything else. Like this is who set this play up.
The first trucking gig that I got, I ain't gonna disclose the name, but when you went to orientation, they had like the great grandfather in 1930s how he established the business. But within the business, they had the great grandson. He's the CEO. His brother, he's the CFO. You know what I'm saying? So they got that. It's a well organized machine.
Right.
To the point to where they even got it set up, the business set up as a charity.
Right.
You think about that, that's like buku money on taxes, man.
Oh yeah.
So it was a well organized machine.
And it keeps out outsiders too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's just all family business, man.
You have to like basically heirs can only like take care of that charity.
Right.
So
but Esau knows this. I have to keep saying that too. And that's why he broke our families up by removing the fathers the way that he did. Was it more?
I'll just finish it up. It says, a good man, Proverbs 13:22, a good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children, and the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just. And the main point was in the beginning.
Kind.
The first part of that verse.
Why is the wealth of the sinner laid up for the just?
Because
the wealth of the sinner, what is the sinner going to do with his wealth?
He going to usually mess it up.
Yeah.
How? He's going to spend it
riotously. Right.
He's going to spend it impulsively.
Mm-hmm.
The just is going to be looking at what? Eternal, immortal processes.
Right.
The ultimate path of immortality is in your ball sack.
Right.
You literally have immortality locked in your balls when you think about it. You know what I mean? So when you take care of your seed as if you have immortality locked in it, you move different.
Right.
This system has set you up to think as your kids not as an asset.
Right.
Not as something that's going to build you long-term wealth.
Right.
We look at our children as liabilities. Something that's costing us more.
Exactly.
Something that's in the way of us actually living. when actually it's the pathway for you to come back.
Your children is an investment.
Yeah,
You know?
you're investing in yourself.
Right, exactly.
If you really, really
If you really think
understand
about it, that's right.
you're saying, hey, you gotta bring me back.
Right.
So let me make sure you good.
Right.
Hey,
Yup.
have you noticed even when you have a child, you be calling on mommy or daddy, like, hey mama, like if you have a baby,
Hey, little mama.
hey little mama.
Yeah.
That's I thought about that. That's so spiritual because that is your mother in a lot of
Right.
ways.
In the long run.
Right.
In the long run. When you think about it as far as a legacy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you protect it and you make sure that legacy is going to continue to be forwarded, right?
That's right.
So this is the battle that Esau's having. Esau is building his future legacy, but trying to show you that that don't matter, just live life.
Right.
So it's just contradicting type of thing that you see.
Right.
You know?
Not raising your children with any like intentional purpose.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
But you see him raising his children
Right.
with very intentional
Oh
purpose.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
You know?
Very.
That's right. They're very keen on what their children are being exposed to, man.
Yep.
So, but that's important of why you need a father in the household. Even going back just to the word Abba, we always go into, the ox, which means it represents strength, and Ba, it represents Bayat or house, strength of the house. Abba, strength of the house. The father is the strength of the house.
I got a quick one.
Go ahead.
Going into what y'all was talking about.
Mhm.
So, this is Job 21:7. Wherefore do the wicked live, become old? Yea, they are mighty in power. Their seed is established in their sight with them, and their offspring before their eyes.
Right, their offspring is established, man, because they had a ruler over their clan or their family to
got
make sure.
substance.
Right.
Mm-hmm. There's three ways that the father is the strength of the house, and then a lot of these alpha male groups bring this out. The 3 P's, right?
Right.
The father is the strength of the house spiritually, as a preacher,
Right.
right? The father of the house is the strength of the house as far as profit,
Mm-hmm.
as far as making sure to bring in substance,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then the father is the strength of the house as concerning protection.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? And so preaching, providing protection is the legacy of the family. And
Right.
this is what the father brings to the table that a woman cannot bring.
And matter of fact,
it's just true.
let's go ahead and grab that Mark 3:27 right now, and we'll come back to Sirach 3 just to, land back on based on what the elder is going into.
Mark 3:27.
Kind.
This is the book of Mark, chapter 3, verse 27. It says, "No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man."
Right, and Esau knows that, man. Read that again.
Mark 3:27. "No man can enter into a strong man's house."
So you can't enter or infiltrate somebody's clan, unless, go ahead.
And spoil his goods.
Spoil his goods, his possible generational wealth being set up,
His children.
his
wife.
right, his wife,
Wives,
his substance,
Substance, yeah. Yep.
unless what?
It says, "And spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man."
Unless he will bind the strong man, bind the father, man. So we've been essentially bound up, man,
Yeah.
through slavery. And then even after slavery, Esau was basically making laws just to put us in jail,
Yeah.
which is 13th Amendment slavery,
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. And the main way that you bound up today is these different laws that are passed that pretty much it pretty much over pedestalizes a woman over you now.
Right, and the children have more power,
And
like
the children have more
yeah.
power. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I got that too. We'll get to it.
The philosophy too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because feminism really teaches these women that you don't need a man. You know what I'm saying? So even when you get with a female, there is a underlying thought process that they have that, you know what I'm saying, they really don't need y'all. Y'all on the same plane field. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yep. Which always comes at the downfall of a nation. Feminism always rises at the end of an empire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that maybe be something. Whenever we get to Isaiah 3, we'll talk about it.
Absolutely.
But at the end of major empires, feminism always rises.
Mm-hmm.
I did a lesson on that a couple weeks ago. How pretty much the fall of Rome, pretty much was that they over pedestalized women and put them in positions of power. You had women who was just
Yeah.
single women. You know what I'm saying? That was gloated. Yeah. Yeah.
Ironically, the Greeks wasn't on that shit.
Right.
They was putting women in check. Like,
Mm-hmm.
hell nah.
Wow.
Sit back, ho.
Is it more to that mark? Okay, can you go back to Sirach 3 and jump down to verse 9?
And the reason why Greece was always like that because they were always at war. The Greek Empire never was chilling.
Mm-hmm.
It was always a time of expansion. Greece never went into a time of like peace.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
See, when you go into a time of peace and comfort, is when women feel like they don't need a man.
Right.
But war is always popping off, like the Greek city-states
Mm-hmm.
always was in a state of threat. They never had an opportunity for the women to be like, hey, you know, this independent. No, we got a barbarian horde that can run up in here any moment. You know
Right.
what I mean? So, you know, it's just a difference.
Yup. It's a saying, weak men bring hard times. Hard times make strong men. Strong men make good times. Good times make weak men. And that cycle, it just keeps going on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But the Lord he's gonna reverse that.
But women, like the elder was saying, between those certain cycles, they've traditionally always came into prominence and got pedestalized, you know.
Yep.
Maybe if men went to war and died off or something, you know, just different scenarios, you know.
I got that in
Sirach 3 and 9.
Yeah. Come on, this is Sirach 3:9. It says, "For the blessing of the father establishes the houses of the children,
Mm-hmm.
but the curse of the mother rooteth out foundations."
But the curse of the woman ruleth out foundations, you know what I'm saying? And we're seeing that play out crystal clear today. Baba Kashak, can you read that again?
Mhm.
And then somebody might as well hold Isaiah 3 then.
Come on. This is back in Sirach chapter 3, verse 9. "For the blessing of the father establishes the houses of children."
Right, establishes the house of children. Legacy, inheritance, generational wealth. If the father's rule is being activated throughout the household, go ahead.
Come on. It says, "But the curse of the mother rooteth out foundations."
But the curse of the mother rooteth out foundations, man. And we always go into the women play a pivotal role, but it's underneath the man, you know? And that we see in foundations rooted out because women are not set up to rule. Like even on Boys in the Hood, she was like, I can't teach you how to be no man.
Yeah.
You know, that's your father, you know, got to do that.
And that's real though.
But even in these movies that show you that Esau knows, you know, that our foundations have been torn without our fathers, you know. Go ahead.
Con, this is Psalm 127. I'm gonna read verse 3 through 5.
Excuse me, Malak. Hey, can you read verse 10?
Oh yeah, we'll come back to
Oh, you
it.
will come back to it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think he just had a quick one.
It's 3 verses, so
Okay, go ahead, Anna.
Come on. This is back in Sirach chapter 3, verse 10. It says, "Glory not in the dishonor of thy father, for thy father's dishonor is no glory unto thee."
Right. And that's what we see a lot happening right now today, you know? Like fathers having to negotiate a punishment with their son. You know, son just hell out disorderly talking back to his father, telling him what he not gonna do. Like it was like about a year or so ago, you had like that father and son having a shootout in front of the yard. Like this is unheard of in our legacy. You know, we didn't have a culture of this behavior. You know,
And even if your father is in some folly, like you don't go around.
you don't disrespect them.
just talking. I mean, you don't even what you say to people. You know,
Right.
brothers, like my daddy wasn't shit. I never knew my dad.
Right.
What
Yeah.
glory is that to you?
Yeah,
Right. Right.
Yep.
But even though you was a black queen mama or a crack fiend mama, you was a black queen.
queen.
Whatever mom do, like she always gets a pass. But the father, he don't never get no glory, you know. And things happen, you know.
Yeah, you don't get no fucking credit for doing crack in front of you.
Sirach 44:1. Or you have that precept, Salakia.
No,
Somebody
sorry,
can
good.
hold Sirach 44:1.
This is Psalm 127. I'm gonna read verse 3 through 5. It says, "Lo, children are a heritage of Yahweh, and the fruit of the womb is His reward."
Right, the fruit of the womb is his reward, man. Go ahead.
It says, "As arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are children of the youth. Happy is the man that hath his quiver full of them."
Right, for legacy purposes,
Right.
man.
Right.
Like today's society having like a lot of children, like the elder said, that's a liability, that's a burden. When really you should be looking at it as an investment into your enterprise.
Right. Yep.
What precept was that,
living
bro?
in nature.
Psalm 127, verse 3 through 5. It says, verse 5 again, "Happy is the man that hath his quiver full of them.
Right.
They shall not be ashamed, but they shall speak with the enemies in the gate."
Because really, the more children you have, that should be like, damn, more potential to expand the enterprise. I got more hands on deck to cultivate the land or whatever you into. You know, that should really be the mindset of I got more workers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But then you'll have somebody like the Ball family, but the dad raises up all these freaking superstar athletes, enterprise kids. They know how to run social media. They making hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars before they even hit the court because of the dad's training on how to market yourself.
Right.
So you got what happened there? Was it Lonzo Ball?
LaMelo Ball. LaMelo will be the best one.
Like, there's 3 of them in the league, right?
Two. Are they all 3 in the league now?
Well, I know D'Angelo's like the
right?
Right?
But pretty much.
But then they, oh my gosh, you know, just talking down on the father. He got quivers. He got arrows in the quiver, man. Which is his sons. You know?
Right.
And and he's excited about being with his boys.
Yep.
He's excited about going and doing more. You know. Yeah. But the mindset is switched to where if you get a girl pregnant in this side, you like, oh, damn it! What am I gonna do?
Yeah. You playing Usher Confessions in the back.
Right. Right. When you should be excited about the legacy that's about to come through. Why? We don't have no continuing promise here. Mm-hmm. You don't rest in this place.
Man.
And fathers are just pretty much just not honored.
No,
you know, they don't receive really no honor in this place,
and
but have the most. We're expected to be held to the highest level of accountability, though. You know,
it's customary for a woman to talk crap about the father in front of the children.
Right.
So the children internalize that, and they looking at the father like he ain't shit. This man probably going to work every day.
It's rooted within the system.
That's a
of
good
Edomite
point.
Supremacy.
Yeah.
It's a standard within the system of Edomite supremacy for the father, especially amongst our nation, not to be shit.
Man.
And women should be mindful. You can't talk to your husband a certain way around the children because they see you talking to him a certain type of way and they feel that it's okay not to honor their father.
They'll undo your decision. You'll say something and then the mother will come and say, well, nah, dude, in front of you, in front of the child. Undermine your authority. Little shit. Yeah, little shit.
And then they mind like, well, hold on, you know, that's confusion.
It is. Yeah.
Well, Smith ain't brought that out.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that.
Nigga mama said I had to stand up from him because my kids was watching.
Right.
She got her ass stole for that. You know what I'm saying? Now Will Smith, he
I saw that. Yeah.
Every week.
So just to explain, basically there's this show that Will Smith has done talking about I can't think of the name of the show.
Best Shape of My Life.
Best Shape of My Life. There's a segment where he's talking about his mom and how he felt like he was a coward because there was one time where the mom basically admits that she only was screaming back to him because the kids was listening. This was her in her mind. In her mind, she's screaming back to the father because the kids were listening. Wanting them to understand that I'm just not going to back down. Now, that led her to getting her ass stole. Then she says, I could have been more submissive.
Right.
And you saw that part.
I seen that, but she said it very pompously. Like, I could have been more submissive. Shit. Like,
basically, that was the sentiment. Yeah, I could have been more submissive, but hell no.
Yeah.
And now Will up here go, I'm sorry, mama. I should have stood up for you. And now you see the situation he's in.
Mm-hmm. Because he didn't have a father to basically just set the tone for him to carry on his own household, man.
Everything that's happening right now is geared towards buck breaking the Israelite man particularly Judah.
Yep.
They're fighting back against the spirit of masculinity that's being pushed, and it starts with his word on them.
Yep.
So you can see Esau's bucking up against that male authority. You know?
That's exactly right. That patriarchy.
Yep.
That's why I know we're in the middle of class.
Nah, we good.
But this is that part of class where if you made it to this part of the lesson, as men, you have to, and this is something I learned from Elder Yashua. You cannot let your woman see you sweat.
No.
You cannot let your girl see you when you're upset, when you're mad, when you're doubting, because this society has put it in them to use that as fuel to come against you. When they see you drunk and fucked up or mad, you acting all mad, see, the expectation is for you to be weak. The
Right.
expectation is for you to be angry. The expectation is for you to do all the things that society said that you would be to justify the label of deadbeat. Ain't shit. You ain't nothing. So, you know, brothers that might be listening to this, you have kids, you have a wife, you have situations. We're definitely in a time where when you upset, when you mad, when you going through it, drinking and stuff like that, that's going to be used against you if you do that in front of them.
Right.
If you wild out in front of them and you really know why you mad, it makes sense why you mad. You ain't tripping. They tripping. But society is against you in that way. You know?
Yo.
So watch out for that. But anyway.
Yeah, for brothers who have children and fathers of a household, your actions dictate the tone of your household. Your behavior, your demeanor, you know, how you allow things to affect you. That affect you gotta be basically kind of detached in a certain way.
Yeah.
All about being a visionary of how you want your house to run, man. Not letting emotions, because that's really, well, emotions are for women. Now, men do get emotional, but like the elder said, that shouldn't be exposed to your woman, especially her, because she could use it as a trigger point to try to manipulate and gaslight, you know?
Yeah. When we say emotions, we don't mean that you don't show happiness to your family.
Right.
We don't mean you don't have a good time with your family. Like, controlling your emotions don't mean you're just like I am letting like not laughing. No, that's not what it's saying. You know what I mean? You control what your passion goes into.
Right.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I guess we can switch gears. Let's get Sirach 44:1.
I got it. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 44 and verse 1. It says, "Let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begat us."
Right. Let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begot us. So that was always our historical legacy, man, of honoring our fathers to the highest degree. You know. Go ahead.
Verse 2, it says, "The Lord hath wrought great glory by them through his great power from the beginning."
So the glory always came through the men. That's why even in Revelation it says the tabernacle of the Most High is with men.
Right.
You know, men of renown, men of high stature and esteem, you know.
Yep, getting pretty much Israelites in particular scenarios and situations. Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua would raise up a man to lead the children of Israel, like Moses.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The miracles of Elijah.
Right.
You know, Yahushua.
Of course. Yep.
Being the first and foremost.
Abraham.
You know, Abraham. So a lot of, you know, the scriptures where it says, pretty much when you read the things of old.
Right.
Romans, the 15th chapter, the 4th verse.
Right.
You know,
the things are written aforetime.
Yeah, the things are written aforetime for our learning. The things are written aforetime for our learning is things that we've seen our forefathers do, and we're reading about our forefathers.
Right. Exactly.
And how they operated, and how the Lord was pleased with particular men, and how He was displeased with particular men.
Right.
And what happened?
Because we are them.
We are
And
them. Yeah.
History repeats itself. That's the saying. You can't move forward unless you understand your past, your history. Matter of fact, somebody grab Job 8:8 real quick. Just on that note.
I actually still have that.
Huh.
You want me to get it now?
Yeah.
This is Job chapter 8, verse 8. It says, "For inquire, I pray thee."
Inquire. Well, that means to really look into something, to investigate. Inquire. I pray thee. Go ahead.
It says, "For inquire, I pray thee of the former age,
Right.
And-
Former age. Go ahead.
and prepare thyself to the search of their fathers."
And prepare yourself for the search of your fathers, man. Because that's who you really, you learn who you really are, man. And especially if your fathers had an inheritance or a certain legacy, man, you want to come up under that banner.
Yeah.
And that's the banner that we're trying to come back into. Even though we was discontinued, now we've been brought back into that way. We searching out that way more and more every day. You know?
Yep.
I got something.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Hold on real quick. It's a little bit more.
Verse 9 says, "For we are but of yesterday, and know nothing."
For real, but of yesterday, we don't know shit, man. We don't know nothing.
Right.
But just like the priest Todd said, through the examples and the things and situations that our forefathers have to go through, they give us hope. They give us affirmation of how to handle certain situations that we go through in this life, man. The scripture says there's nothing new under the sun. You know? Go ahead.
It says, "And know nothing, because our days are upon the earth, because our days upon the earth are a shadow."
Right, because our days upon the earth are a shadow. And even just going back to some of our ancient forefathers. They was living, past 900, almost 1,000 years, man. So they had a vast amount of knowledge, that got passed down, experience, knowing how to deal with family, knowing how to enterprise and deal with the other nations, community, in all aspects of life.
I find it interesting how, like, you mentioned the age of how long our fathers lived. It only mentions the men. It never really mentions the women, how long they lived.
That's a good point.
Man.
That's
Or
right.
even their names or anything.
Right.
Because it's a book about the genealogies, the seed line.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, somebody hold numbers 1 and 18 real quick.
Kind of wanted to grab this in Jeremiah just to land back off the point, being made. Jeremiah 6:16, it says, "Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein."
Right.
See, because this society has pretty much, kind of laid it's pretty much a snare. This society, it even talks about in Proverbs that there's a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end ways thereof are death.
Right.
And that's exactly what the society presents as good. Woe unto him that call evil good. And,
Right.
Yeah. So on.
The turning of things upside down.
Right. Exactly. But I'm gonna finish it off. Jeremiah 6:16. In the middle it says, "And walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls." But they said, "We will not walk therein."
That's why our people don't have rest for our souls, man, because we're not going after the old way
Right.
of our ancient forefathers,
Because
man.
you gotta think, bro, like we through.
It's
So
completely through.
we don't remember who we are just by remember, so we have to go into
You
the
gotta
book.
go and look.
Like we just read it
Right.
in Job. You don't know, you don't
Right.
have the physical remembrance to just be like, okay, this is why. You go into the scriptures, it tells you literally your father's messed
Right.
up.
Yep.
So now you know what to correct. That's what
Right.
the Bible offers you, a record of your fathers and where they went wrong, what we're supposed to do, what's going to happen through the prophets.
Right. Because there was a time like certain black women, they was going to those sites like Ancestry.com and all of that, because our people, we always have a yearning to search who we are, basically.
Right.
But they going about it the wrong way, because most likely with things like that, Esau going according to the maternal lineage through their mothers, and that's completely off, man.
It's not according to the spirit.
Right, it's not according to the spirit. It's not according to the seed of the fathers, man. Which, matter of fact, before we get Numbers 1 and 18, somebody get Wisdom of Solomon 7. About Kashar.
And those websites like we mentioned, Ancestry.com and 23andMe, those are companies that are developed to gather DNA samples.
And it always goes back to some Hamite stuff too, with
Yeah.
most Jake that
Well,
do
yeah,
that.
Yeah, that too, yeah.
Yeah, I found out that I'm from the whatever tribe.
Yeah, when you go into the websites, I did actually some research on this a couple years ago. A lot of the websites are actually ran by so-called Jews. That's why they, whenever you do it, you of this the Huzazanzu tribe in in Africa, whatever the case may be.
Right.
And it's so a lot of those websites are ran by Amalekites.
Man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. What I call for?
Wisdom Solomon 7.
Yeah, go ahead.
Where do you want me to start?
Start at the top.
All right, done. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 1. It says, "I myself also am a mortal man, like to all."
Right. I myself am a mortal man like unto all. Born in this flesh, like all men came in the flesh, Go ahead.
And the offspring of him that was first made of the earth.
Right. Going back to Adam, the offspring of him which was first made of the earth. Go ahead.
It says, "And in my mother's womb was fashioned to be flesh."
And in my mother's womb, which we always go into, the mother's womb is comparable to like an incubator.
That's right.
That's where the seed receives nourishment, and that seed is housed until the time, to be delivered. But it's, go ahead.
In the time of 10 months.
Right, around 9 or 10 months, go ahead.
Being compacted in blood of the seed of man.
If I may, real quick.
Right,
sorry.
being compacted in blood of the seed of man. So the seed of man is what's carried by a woman's womb. That's the point. Go, just finish it out.
And the pleasure that came with sleep.
And the pleasure that came with sleep. Sex, which sex is not just for pleasure, it's for establishing offspring, for enterprise and legacy. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I was just gonna make the point, and it also proves that, whenever the seed, the sperm actually hits the egg, that conceives that time span of life. Because you got them that try to pretty much Planned Parenthood and abortions is one of the main killers of the Israelite men. You know, and they want to say, well, you know, the heartbeat and this, that, and the third. Well, technically, the baby wasn't alive yet, and all this other kind of stuff. Well, it proves it says 10 months.
Right.
That additional month is life.
Right.
You know, not necessarily the 9, but that's why it says in the compacting the womb for 10 months. You know what I mean?
Now, if I'm not mistaken, didn't Apostle Ramla was supposed to do a video on the pleasure with sleep saying it was
It was just
Us
sleeping in the actual womb.
Yeah.
right.
Okay,
It was
Salaki.
the actual womb.
Salaki.
And on the point of the 10 months too, really, you know, that's according to the lunar or the Hebrew calendar,
Right.
of course, but it's closer to 28 days. You know what I'm saying? So Esau be having to say 9 months. Really, that's
Because we have
if you go by the moon cycle, it's 10.
it's what's
Yeah,
it called,
exactly.
a dar or something like that additional month.
well. I'm just saying how
Right.
how Esau make the months 30 days or 31 days when it's really closer to 28. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
The 28.9 or something like that.
It's not exactly 30. Some of his months is 31 days.
Yeah, leap years, all sorts of madness and shit.
What are you talking about? Like having a baby in 10 months?
Right.
Very accurate.
That's bad. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
But I guess he was just making a qualification on how Esau views time
Esau
and all
forces
of
the
that.
baby out.
Right.
Esau forces the baby out. It's money, profit. Just, come on in, we can cut it out.
Man, facts.
The baby's a bird, the blood pressure's dropping. We gotta cut it out. She needs emergency C-section.
Right.
Everything's an emergency C-section.
Man.
It's lies.
They're trying to beat you.
In the medical field, they always say like 36 weeks, I think. So
Yeah, bro, they rip these kids out of the womb, and you wonder why the kid is so damn confused. They won't even breastfeed.
right.
They don't know what the hell is going on. You know?
Somebody have a precept?
I had one hell.
Go ahead.
This is Proverbs. Did you want the numbers one first?
I did want that.
I'll get
Matter of fact, get that first.
Yeah, I
Get
got
that
you.
back. So the point that the offspring is of the seed of man. You know.
This is Numbers chapter 1.
So that's how you determine, you know, your lineage. That's why when you go into Matthew, the first chapter, it gives Yahweh Shai's lineage, you know, such and such begot such and such, all through the fathers, you know.
This is Numbers chapter 1, verse. The point is in verse 18. I'm sorry, verse 17. And Moses and Aaron took these men, which are expressed by their names,
Right.
and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families.
Right. They declared their pedigrees. Let's look up that word pedigree.
That word in the Hebrew is yalad.
Go ahead.
In the online etymology dictionary, pedigree as a noun, it says genealogical or genealogical
Right.
table or chart.
Which gene goes back to the seed, you know, or
Genesis.
sperma. Right.
In the Hebrew, that word is yalad, which means to beget or to bring forth.
Right. Offspring, basically, because I was looking up beget earlier too. Go ahead.
It says, and they declared their pedigrees after their families
Right.
by the house of their fathers.
By the house of their father. So that's how you declare the pedigree of a family, by the house of your father. There's no really such thing as no maternal lineage. That's a whole new feminist concept,
Right.
you know?
If I could add,
Go
right
ahead.
here at the end, it says ancestral line.
Oh yeah, ancestral line.
Yeah.
Because that's really that's the proper way to trace your ancestry, by your fathers, by the seed of your forefathers. My father, my grandfather, my great grandfather, so on and so forth.
Right.
You know, that's how you come back to really who you are, man. You know?
It's like the time of Ezra when they was rebuilding the temple and they had and the registry was going, and they was trying to figure out who, these particular individuals, if they belong to the priesthood or not. They had to go back and look at the records of their fathers, you know, to see, okay, well, this man here is of this particular line. He's of the line of Aaron. You know what I mean? So they had to look to see who their father was.
Hey,
going
that
back to the
registry and them records was important because land rights, ownerships, you know, it ain't gonna have no discrepancies over that when it's all recorded. So that's another legacy of our people recording and having registries of, you know, the head of household, so to speak. You know,
There's different administrations even within the Levitical priesthood of being porters or musician or
right,
candle lighter or
Right.
whatever position. It all ran like that.
right.
Know?
You
And
knew
so-
certain houses what they were known for, like
Yeah.
that house they skillful in fishing
Yeah.
or they know how to make weapons or whatever.
Yeah. So when they came to do the dedication of the temple during the time of Persia, when you read about it in Ezra and Nehemiah, because of the Babylonian captivity, when the Edomites came in there and burned the temple and did all that, so a lot of records were destroyed or just displaced. So those families that knew they were Israelites but couldn't prove it,
Foreigners
became instant foreigners.
Yep. Yeah, particularly Levites that had to, that had the office of carrying the Ark of the Covenant. Then you had other families that had the office of actually covering the vessels. You had ones that actually had the office of picking it up and bearing it. If you did this, you would die. If you did this, you would, you know what I mean? So it was very particular and tedious about how the Lord had it set up. Particular, the fathers of the sons of Korah, you know what I mean? The sons of Aaron, so man, the importance of fathers is very, very, very important,
That's why it says not remove not the landmarks. The landmarks was basically like rocks, if you will, that would determine what land was what family was to get a sect of land. So if you remove that landmark, you're taking the father. Basically, you take the father inheritance, and Jacob was actually doing that. We talked about that in Micah, the 2nd chapter, woe in that covered fields. That was doing it. They would remove the landmarks.
Dang. Wow. I had a precept. Go ahead. Proverbs chapter 4, start at verse 1. It says, "Hear ye children, the instruction of a father, and intend to know understanding. For I give you good doctrine, forsake ye not my law. For I was my father's son, tender and only beloved in the sight of my mother. He taught me also, and said unto me, let thine heart retain my words. Keep my commandments and live." See, so I mean, we know that this is going into the wisdom, right. But ultimately with the Father, he said, hearken unto my words, keep my commandment and live, because what the Father ultimately gave that instruction of life. Like Elder Ariala mentioned at first, the Father is the priest, the provider, and the protector.
That's right.
And this is Solomon speaking. We know who his father was, King David.
Let's get Genesis. Yeah, we'll get it here in just a second. I want to get this here in Genesis, the 12th chapter. If somebody can get Genesis, the 12th chapter, Dr. Sean. Let me try to find a good place.
You said 12?
Because I just want to make a point on our forefather Abraham. How even though we know that his father Terah, he was a idol worshiper, he still reverenced and basically honored his father.
We start at the top. That'd be too much.
Yeah, you can start at the top. Read through 4, 1 through 4.
Genesis 12 and 1. Now Yahweh had said unto Abram, get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred and from thy family's house unto a
from
land.
Thy father's house.
And from thy father's house, unto a land that I will show thee, and I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and I will curse them that curses thee, and in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed.
Right, because Abraham's name, do you know what Abraham's name means? No. Do you know what Abraham's name means? Do you know his name was at first Abram? Do you know what Abram means? Okay, I know you know, right? What does it mean?
Father, well,
what's Abram mean?
Abram,
right,
is Abaram, which is exalted father,
right,
and then Abraham is father of many.
Right, father of many. So that's where you can break that down in the scriptures through what we just read in verse 3. But basically, pretty much the Most High told Abraham to leave his father's household. But the point I want to get is, peep how old Abraham was when he first left his father's household. Verse 4.
So Abram departed as Yahweh had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran.
Right, so he departed out of Haran. He left his father Terah's household. He was 75 years old. And I believe when you read Genesis 11, it says when his father Terah died in Haran, I believe he was 205. So that shows that we stayed within our plan, he was still under his father's household at that age, bro.
Man,
You know?
He probably, his father had probably had an enterprise, and,
Yeah.
and Abram was probably under, like, running.
Right.
Because we left, he had substance.
Right. He took Lot with him. They
Yeah.
took the cattle.
Yeah, so
But, right.
he probably was, like, into cattle and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Big
when
time.
when you read in Josephus, it says that Terah was he had his own shop, but he was making idols, like he was an idol maker.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
An artificer or
An
whatever.
artificer.
Yeah.
And Abraham seen the idol and he grabbed it and smashed it on the ground. And Terah was tripping, like, "What are you doing?" He was like, "Well, it's a god. Well, ain't he supposed to get up?"
Right.
You
But that was
read
his
that-
occupation, though. Like, yeah.
You read that in Josephus, you know what
Right.
I mean? But that's just
But-
it's a separate secular history.
In Genesis
Abram
12,
was probably going
that's
through.
pretty much the reason why Abram departed from his father's household, because, like he was saying, his father was into idol worshiping. But the point I want to get is, peep how old he was before he came from under his father's banner, man. You know, so that shows we had a deep level of reverence and honor to our fathers, man.
He had his first child when he was 100.
Right.
Well, he had Isaac when he was 100.
100,
You know, but that wasn't his first. You know, that wasn't his
Yeah,
first child.
Ishmael.
He was still 90.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
He was
No,
still up
like
there.
90
Yeah,
something.
no, you're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
I think he was 90
still
when
old.
he had
Ishmael.
Isaac or Ishmael, yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, yeah, he was 90.
Yeah, he was 90.
And then 100 at Isaac. With Isaac.
Yeah.
because when Ishmael was kicked out,
26.
and his Hagar was kicked out, what, Ishmael was 13 at the time?
I can go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we can just switch
Ishmael got
gears.
an inheritance.
Yeah.
Let's get Lamentations 5 and 3. I'm gonna just kind of make it come back full circle, just on how it was in the ancient time versus how it is now, man. You know, and that's why we've been so broken as a nation. Why we're the one reason why we can't establish any generational wealth, man. Why we can't have a higher level of autonomy. You know, which is the curses, the scriptures in Deuteronomy 28. We should be in one of all things to our enemy. But it's like we can't get nothing going, man. We don't got no sense of a clansmanship, you know. But
I got that.
Lamentations 5 and 3, go ahead.
This is Lamentations 5 and 3. It says, "We are orphans and fatherless. Our mothers are as widows."
Right. Because our fathers are not in the household. The strength of the household has been removed, man, by various different ways that the damn wicked has used to do that. But we're fatherless children, man. You know?
Government aid, you had to be a single mother in order to qualify.
So within having a fatherless nation, it's just going to be a perpetual cycle of no generational wealth,
Downward spiral.
or just a downward spiral, looking for women to try to somehow establish a foundation of something that we can really have as far as an inheritance. You ain't going to be able to do that, man. You know?
Because they ain't got it.
Because they ain't got it yet at the end of the day. So yeah, we can go ahead and just segue to Isaiah, the 3rd chapter. Start at 12, I think. Yeah, 12.
I got it. Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 12. It says, "As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them."
Right. And women rule over them, man. And that's completely out of order, man. And not just the nation within the nation of Israel, our women are ruling over us collectively, but just in society as a whole, man. You know, women are dominating so-called marriages, man. You have some women, they don't even acknowledge their husband as a husband. They call it their partner, which implies that there's some level of equality.
Right.
Which the Most High didn't make equality, man. Patriarch, we went into that word, it means father's rule or rule of the father. So a father is supposed to rule over his household. Matter of fact, we'll just go back to the beginning, get Genesis 3 and 16. Because the whole feminist mindset makes it seem like women that are under their man, that's an oppressive rulership.
Right.
I got it.
Toxic.
Right.
masculinity.
Toxic masculinity, go ahead.
Genesis 3 and 16. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception.
Right.
In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee.
Right. Look up that word desire in the Hebrew. It says, and our desire shall be towards thy husband. Right now in this society, you have career women. They on their Sunday's best at the job around Esau, but they got that damn bonnet on at the house, just giving you their worst.
Man,
When your desire is supposed to be first and foremost to your husband. Let's look up that word desire.
Hey Malak, can we get that scripture? The scripture here in the NLT.
I can get, yeah, I got the different translations right here. NLT says, Genesis 3:16, then he said to the woman, I will sharpen the pain of your pregnancy, and in pain you will give birth, and you will desire to control your husband, but he will rule over you.
Right. That's why women have birth pains, man. They have to use, what is it called? Epidurals. Get a spinal tap pretty much to go through the process of bringing forth the child. When back in the ancient time, our women had midwives to where that was a pretty much seamless process to deliver a baby. You know?
And it still kind of happens like that today.
Some women are getting more into it, you know?
For the most part, especially going to these hospitals, they got you in a laying down on your back. You know, it's basically the opposite of what it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
It makes it harder to get the baby out because you're not utilizing gravity and so on.
Exactly. You're supposed to be kind of more, the woman's supposed to be in a more upright position.
They'll be on stools.
Right.
They'll be pretty much squat.
Right. To where the baby head not all cramped, you know? Oh, man, it's just
What was the word that you wanted me to give you?
desire.
Okay, kind of. Yeah, this is Strong's H8669. That word is thashawakwa. It says, thashawakwa.
It is?
I mean, that's pretty
It
much.
sounds like it further.
It is. It's.
Oh, desire, thirst. That your man mean thirsty.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so your woman's supposed to be thirsty for you. That read that again.
Yeah. I didn't even get it yet. But yeah, this is Strong's H8669.
I got a head.
The Shawakwa, you can pronounce it like that.
Right.
It says desire, longing, craving.
Longing, craving. Like when you crave something, that means you have an appetite.
You have a yearning.
Like that's how your woman's supposed to look at her. A woman is supposed to look at her husband with a craving and yearning and appetite, like kind of like a primal instinct, you know.
Yeah.
Women respect power though. They have a craving towards power now, you know. Go ahead.
Yep, it says you get the lexicon. It's a feminine noun meaning to long after. Let me see. In the original sense of stretching out after, reaching out for something.
Right. There's a concerted effort put forth, like you know. Exactly.
It's something that you're yearning for.
Something you're yearning for.
Yep. That's pretty much it.
So read Genesis 3:16 again, Barbara Shaw.
Okay. This is Genesis 3:16. In the KJV, it says, "Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband."
Right. Your longing, your craving shall be towards your husband. Go ahead.
"And he shall rule over thee."
And he shall rule over you. What? Not a partnership, not 50-50. He shall rule over you. And that part of the Bible, man, feminists hate.
Yeah.
A lot of so-called Christian women, they want to look over that part of the Bible right there.
Or that's how it used to be.
Or that's how it used to be. Oh, that was then.
That's the old.
That was the old times.
Yeah.
When we just read in Jeremiah 6:16, it says, what does it say? Stand ye in the old and seek after the old path, man. Because a lot of women say, that was how things were doing back then.
They don't realize it was because of men that modernized what they had to where they can get Kroger's and go get their oil change, you know what I'm saying, sit in their car the whole time.
Because that's called infrastructure.
Yeah.
Only men have the strength to lay infrastructure.
And maintain it too, by the way.
And maintain it so women could live that comfortable life and talk shit.
Right.
Because most truck drivers are men. And without truck drivers, this nation would be through everything.
And construction workers.
Construction,
Fishers.
engineering, most of the engineering. I'm talking about the real engineering, like whether it be the railroad.
Even inventors.
Yo.
Everything is really maintained by men.
Right. So women on the real, they should be honoring men.
Yep.
Man.
You know?
Everything that they got, it comes from us. Like
Right.
the toothbrush, the toothpaste,
Everything,
soap, the car that they driving, the road that they driving on. All that is done all that's made by men. Pretty much done by men.
But the breakdown in society is going to force women to get back on honoring men, especially, I guess I'm saying women who have husbands, who've been talking all kind of shit, just doing what they want to do in the household, not really putting on no respect on their husband's name. That's going to be wiped out. They gonna get with the program quick when all hell starts breaking loose, man. Because they gonna realize who the strength of the house is, man.
Yeah, they look for that protection. But right now, it's not that, shit ain't hit the fan yet, so it's not no liver, you ain't gotta, put on as that delicate woman that needs a man.
Right. She ain't in the woods, she's in the damn city.
Right.
Just wait.
Got central air and heat. She don't gotta go out and collect wood and start a fire to keep something warm, man.
Right.
You know?
Yep. That's why the scripture says, woe unto you women that are at ease.
Right.
Yeah, because a man ain't got to go hunt for food no more. They can go to the grocery store and get it.
Right.
I don't respect men because they ain't no more hunter-gatherers.
Exactly.
The time coming where that shit go flip. You guys can't eat, you want to get the food. The man go get it.
And then with the hunter gathering, some men sent their woman out to go hunt and gather.
Yep.
You know?
Like a lion's pride.
Yep.
And just bring back forth. They'll put them in a situation to where they will be protected or whatever, where they wouldn't be vulnerable.
Yeah. And it makes me think about Ruth when they were gleaning from the field.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Goddamn picture. Because the so-called natives, Gadites, they seen woman really as something that was feminine.
Right.
The men would go out and hunt.
And hunt, yup.
The women would worry into
Planting.
the planting husbandry.
Mhm.
But it wasn't on the scale Esau Edom. You know what I'm saying? Like crops and things of that nature. That's more of a masculine thing. But as far as hunting and gathering, like the brothers going to, man, you go pick some grapes. Where I go get this deer, man.
Right.
Or this bison. You know what I'm saying?
But even if the woman is planting, the husband gonna come back to make sure that the affairs are in order. Now we need to put these seeds over here. We need to, we gotta cultivate the land more over here. He's still running the whole place still.
Yeah. And that's what a lot of these modern women are missing. They're missing basically administration in the household.
That's what it is.
A lot of these women, they think that they're good making $50 a year. when it's time to retire, you're not gonna have any money, bro.
You ain't gonna have no money, especially a lot of the lifestyles that these women have. Always got Amazon packages coming in the mail every other week.
3 series monthly payment.
Yep.
Or what's that C-Class Mercedes, the 230?
Yep. Don't have savings less than $200.
Yo, they don't even got like 2 months worth of living expenses if they lose their job, bro. Y'all about shimmy off
A lot of these women, they think they're independent, but really they're dependent on the system.
That's right.
Right, so that's why it brings me to a point too. A lot of women, 60 years old, even my mother, they still having to work. Just because they didn't get under a man to get something real established to where once you get up in age, you don't have to be doing that.
That's right.
But this system, it's been a snare. Because women at older ages, they're still having to toil because they can't retire. They ain't got shit to retire on. They'll be through.
Yep.
It ain't no money in social security anymore. You know? So this whole just not holding the fathers on a high esteem, it's just been detrimental to everybody, all parties involved, really. But more so to the nation of Israel, man. You know? Because we was the ones who were supposed to be blessed in keeping that way. You know? Somebody get 1 Timothy 2:12. That's all the precepts I had, unless anybody else wanted to add anything.
This 1 Timothy 2:12, it says, "But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man."
Matter of fact, let's start up a verse. Start at verse 11.
This is 1 Timothy 2:11. "Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection."
Right, so this is the order that a woman is supposed to come up under a man under. Women are supposed to learn whatever her man instructs on, whatever he's administering to set the tone of his household. She's supposed to learn in silence. You have 2 ears, 1 mouth. She's supposed to be listening to what her man directive is. It says with all subjection, not when you feel like being subjective, with all subjective in all things, man. So even going back to this society, if a woman is out earning and she might earn more than her husband, guess what she's really supposed to be doing? She's supposed to be bringing all the money back to him.
Yep.
And he's supposed to dictate on how we going. He's supposed to be the over the finances in the house, pretty much.
Yep.
So if she do got a good job, that money's supposed to be coming right to him. I'll break it down. I'll give you an allowance or whatever, however you want to do it.
Yep.
That's what all subjection in all things means, man.
But a woman would rather work, instead of have a husband and work under his enterprise, she would rather go work for Esau and
Right.
be single.
Yeah.
Right.
And not make shit.
Not make nothing. $50K a year, that ain't nothing, bro.
Really ain't shit.
That ain't shit.
That's only a livable income in the South. If you make 50K
And in the
anywhere
South.
else, you through.
Right. But women today making that, they got children with no father in the house.
I don't know how they be doing that shit.
So,
They got child support, they got government aid.
and then just debt with no savings, just paycheck to paycheck, just a treacherous, just spiral without any legacy, no inheritance to leave back.
Yeah.
So fathers matter. That's the point of my lesson. You know, these women, man. Hey, the scriptures say what they say for a reason about these women, man. The scriptures are real strict with women because there's a need to, man.
Right.
That's why the scripture says, I can't think of where it is, where it talks about not giving a woman liberty to gather
I
abroad.
was just about to find it. It's Ecclesiastes.
Because they
25.
ruin everything, man. A woman's ability to just do whatever she want to do not only destroys her, if it's children involved, they through. Everything's just fucked up, man. Pardon my language. And we got to blame the devil because Esau knows this. You better bet your bottom dollar Esau's household is not like this. And I'm talking about the higher tiers of Esau going up to the elite. They have male heirs to whatever enterprise that they passing off. And they women ain't on order. They women ain't finna be talking to them any kind of way. They'll get put down. They'll put them under the dirt. And it'll be like she was missing if she got out of order.
I got some.
Go ahead.
This is Ecclesiasticus, the book of Sirach, chapter 26. I'm gonna start at verse 13 because this is what a woman should be doing. All right, I'm gonna read down to verse 15. It says, "The grace of a wife delighteth her husband, and her discretion will fatten his bones." And what is discretion is having a sense of understanding, judgment, and the understanding and a judgment a woman is supposed to have is understanding and knowing her role.
Right.
You see, a woman's discretion is all fucked up now because what they role of what they believe to know that's been taught to them from their mothers and from what society teaches is that you can be independent. You don't need a man.
Right.
You can be over a man. You can go to the military. You can fight. You can do this. You can work in the industrial. You can do anything you want.
Right.
But that's not the way that the Lord set it up with the order of things. The Lord said what the man is over the woman. All right, and then Yahushua is over the man, and Yahweh is over Yahushua. That's the order that the Heavenly Father set up because that brings structure to the planet Earth.
Yo, and a lot of black women, they have a lot of animosity. Like if their father didn't come up with them, they're very bitter. They're the worst. They're the worst ones to deal with. But that shows that Esau removing the father, as far as our women, man, it messed them up too, and they're the weaker vessel. Because going back in the scriptures, you know, a father, he has to make sure he's looking after the state of if he has a daughter, making sure that he's bringing her up so that she can get the best man. Because that's only going to help expand his enterprise. Going back to the story of Jacob and Laban.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Laban ran game on Jacob. Because he understood that he wanted Rachel.
Yep.
But Leah, which he wasn't going off because Leah was the oldest. He worked 7 years and he gave him Leah. Then he had to work another 7 years to get Rachel. But the point being made, just that strength in the household, his daughter's way is already set with a righteous man, you know. So not having a father, it messes them up too, man. That's why a lot of our women, we get on them a lot, but in this society they through, man, just because of that.
When you talk to a lot of these women, bro, they got a lot of psychological issues, bro. A lot of psychological issues. So, you know, just hey man, we man, bro. I ain't gonna tell nobody not to deal with a woman. Just be careful who you dealing with out here.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because every brother ain't gonna be, you know what I'm saying, Greek or Suave. You're gonna have some brothers. You're gonna get in a relationship. It's gonna happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But just be careful who you decide to lay down with, decide to do whatever with. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, we are men. You know what I'm saying? Just, you know, having a person that doesn't have a father in their life or a person that doesn't respect her father, more than likely she is gonna be a demon. It might not be outwardly per se, but she'll show her disrespect in very subtle ways, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Because that tone of dishonor and disrespect towards a male authority figure, that's already been a breach in her mind. There's no way possible that this guy can, I can take a lead from him. You know, that's been instilled in her early if she didn't have a father coming up. You know, and Esau knows that too. I gotta keep saying this bastard knows this, bro. Go ahead.
I got a little bit more on this. You still in 26 though, right?
Kind
All right, Baba Kusha, you got it.
Okay. This is Sirach chapter 26. I'll read verse 13 again. It says, "The grace of a wife delighteth her husband," and that grace goes into help, love, because Most High shows grace and mercy to us, which is really His help or His love towards us. So like that true genuine love that a woman has towards her husband is a delight. Not necessarily like just her coming home, just bothering you. You know what I'm saying? Just loud,
right?
Well, how come this ain't just being a goddamn demon? You know what I'm saying? That shit, as a man, that shit you ain't trying to hear that shit,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
It's a scripture. It is. If I could say, it talks about like a woman, she should be like a pillar of rest for a man. But that's only if they respect you and honor you as an authoritative figure, as the ruler of the house. And in most situations, our men are not being viewed in that light by our women. Right. Yep.
No matter what you do.
No matter what you do, man.
You provide, you put a roof over her head.
Bro, look at Will Smith. We got to keep bringing this dude up. But I don't know how much. I ain't going to pocket watch on the boy. But, he got millions or whatever. He got M's. And his woman is just being a complete demon, embarrassing him. He looks very dishonorable, but it's all through his woman, man.
Yeah, cause she from the hood. She used to niggas treat her like shit, and that's masculinity unto her. Yep. So she with a guy that's gonna treat her half decent. You being Casanova, she gonna spit on your face, literally. Yep. You know what I'm saying? These women don't respect a guy that has morals. They think masculinity is a nigga like Tupac. His bitch is 50-something years old still talking about Tupac.
Right.
A nigga that died when he was 27.
Right.
That was a child. When you 27, you still a kid.
You're a kid for real.
You know what I'm saying? But that's her sense of romance.
Right.
The nice guy loses. Always loses.
Right.
Nice guy finish last.
Of course.
It says, verse 14, it says, a silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord.
A silent and loving woman is a gift of the Most High. Because sometimes you might just want to vent for a minute, but you don't want to hear all what she going. Most men most likely got to hear how your woman's day went.
Man.
They be asking you how your day was just so you can go turn around and ask them how their day was.
Right. You might just be like, it was cool. Jake going to be short and sweet because you don't want to recap the hell.
Yep.
You just, it was all right, man.
Females going.
She ready to break the heart, and I don't know why that bitch she going into the whole breakdown, of the day, and it's really just nothing. Really, she just complaining over nothing a lot of times. But a woman, she's supposed to be silent, and loving.
Right.
That affection that we just read about in Genesis the 3rd chapter, that craving.
Not all that goddamn cackling and shit,
right,
man. You know what I'm saying? Just making noise, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
As a man, especially right now, and we in captivity, man, we ain't trying to hear that shit.
Right.
Honestly, we ain't trying to hear that shit, man. The best thing to do is just let a man do what he does, and know your role. You know what I'm saying? We ain't sitting there being a lion in our household, just shutting shit down and just yelling at you all damn day, because we don't do that. But man, we ain't trying to hear all that extra shit though, honestly.
Right.
Just being real, we ain't trying to hear it. But the thing is, a woman should understand and know the vibration that her man is giving off to be like, you know what, let me fall back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Space.
Let me give him the space because I understand that he likes these things. A woman's supposed to, he likes these things. He likes this. He likes this particular thing a particular way. So let me just do it like this so I can please him.
Right.
And in return,
I was just gonna say, a woman is supposed to know all the little nuances of her man.
Yeah.
Just through that process of just examining and having discretion.
We read it.
Discretion. You should know what your man like, what he don't like, what irritate him. Like, man, I need to just kind of let him just be. I'm gonna come back later. She should already know that.
You should be asking questions like, well, how am I supposed to know? Or, well, how come you just, now granted, a man, how men are today, you know, things are done backwards. You see what I'm saying? But in today's society, like a woman really needs to be really focused on the Hey man, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, he wants us to focus on the details about him.
Right.
So how much more a woman needs to focus on the details of her husband? We gotta focus on the details of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, what he wants, the little things that he likes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But the woman need to do that with us.
Exactly, because that's the order. It starts with us, you know, being obedient, being in subjection to all things to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, and then it translates. It trickles down, man.
I'll finish this for you though. Okay.
And that's all I had, unless brothers had precepts after he read that one.
Verse 14: a silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord. That's a gift.
Silent and loving woman. The only time these women really get to know your nuances is when they're trying to pick at you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I know you don't like this, I'm gonna do that. I know if I say this to him, you know what I'm saying? Like the broski said, gaslighting. I guess that's a new term for, you know, throwing bricks or whatever that these women do.
Just to basically deflect. They'll basically throw something out there that'll have you questioning your own sanity.
Yeah.
Like, man, did I do something wrong? When really it's just her being a demon, man. You know? But she may know a nuance to know how to flip that play around to where you be like, what the fuck? You know, and really you on point.
Right. Yep.
Master manipulation.
It's all manipulation tactics. Yep. Go ahead.
Oh, you know what yours?
I got a little more. It says, verse 14: a silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord, and there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed.
Ooh, a mind well instructed, man.
Where does that come from?
Right. Get that from my father.
Right.
But a lot of these dudes,
well instructed.
These cats out here be teaching their children, they daughters. I'm gonna teach you to not need a man. Why would you teach a woman not to need a man?
Right.
Right.
When really, if you're looking at the big picture expansion, you should be trying to help her pick the right man to increase your enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
What scriptures were you just reading, brother?
Sirach 26, verse 13. And I'm going to finish up with verse 15.
When you look at family as a liability, that's what you do.
Right.
You want to protect your daughter.
Right.
You know, instead of actually equipping your daughter to link with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
See, when I teach my daughter, I teach her what to look for.
Right.
This is what men want.
Yup.
Baby, put some lotion on. Oil yourself every morning.
Mm-hmm.
I just started teaching her that when she...
Femininity, basically.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
She's becoming a young lady now.
Yup.
She needs to know, wash your ass.
Oh, yeah.
Why? Because men want that. Know how to cook, baby. So, Tuesdays, Thursdays, you cook breakfast. You cook dinner. Mama ain't cooking, you cook. Now, you know what I mean? So they're like, you know, you gotta train them up now. The way when a good man says, God damn, keep this one.
Yeah.
That's how it should be. But just like y'all saying, because of feminism, because of the way that things have been geared up and ruled and ran, you know, I stepped out to talk to the elder, but I'm sure y'all went through Isaiah 3.
Kind.
When you talk about Isaiah 3, it's the collapse of society. Isaiah the 3rd chapter is a curse that's highlighting the collapse of society. The collapse of society starts at the family structure.
Kind of.
And modernizing the world and making the world where you don't have to go hunt the food. You go to Walmart and buy some chicken.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure y'all went in on it.
We did. Yeah, kind.
Now it's not a sentiment of need a man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that time is coming back, baby.
Right.
Right? So right now the real need is spiritual. You know, for the ladies or women listening, you need the men to provide the spiritual content to get you out of here.
Right.
That should provide what? When you respect something, you get quiet when you're around it.
Yup.
That's that silence. Women start talking a lot when their sense of respect drops.
Right.
That's the fucking truth.
Even with them pastors in the churches, like he on the soapbox or the pulpit, the women are silent.
Yeah.
Maybe encouraging them all. There you go.
No, they might give an affirmation.
Right, an affirmation. Yup.
Because that's what a man
Preach.
wants.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But that's
it's that power, right?
Yep.
That respect. So,
Yep.
but it's coming back.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's coming back like bell bottoms, man. Hardcore. That's why Isaiah 4:1. That reverence and honoring men is gonna come back, man.
Yeah, that's right.
Because women are opportunists at the end of the day. I don't really know. I guess the topic would have us go into women, but women are hardcore opportunists.
Yeah. Well, you have to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because if you want to talk about the importance of a father,
Right.
when we contrast it to society today,
Right.
we see the problem. But that's powerful how Isaiah the 3rd chapter talks about what? The fall of society.
Kind.
And then Isaiah the 4th chapter talks about what? The restoration.
Restoration.
Of it.
Yep.
And immediately at the top of that chapter is what?
4 women. Yup.
The women getting
7
back into that
take
dope
on one man,
supportive
yeah.
role. Right?
Yup.
You know? It's hand in hand.
Yup.
So for brothers to be coming into this truth, you're learning these things. You're not learning these things so you can be Pimp Don Corleone. 4 women, 7 women gonna bow down to me. I'm gonna walk around like pimp juice. I think I need to let it loose. No, we're not saying that.
Get that out your head.
Right.
We're not saying that. What we're saying is the idea of masculinity and the idea of being the head of the household. We highlighted the 3 points, right?
Mm-hmm.
The 3 P's.
Right.
Preaching, providing, and protecting.
Yup.
And those 3 things are what Esau takes away from us. They take away your ability to preach and control the thoughts of your household. They take away your ability to provide and produce legacy, wealth. And they take away your ability to protect and be manly and stand firm for what you believe in.
Right.
You know? And so that creates a weaker house structure.
Yup.
And so that importance of the fathers is coming back and being reestablished.
That's right.
So anyway.
Now that's the point being made. You know, it's a resurgence of fathers being reverenced at the highest level, man. Just the way it's supposed to be. But like the elder said, this ain't no pimp juice or nothing. Before you can be a ruler of a household, you gotta first rule your own spirit, man. Right. Mm-hmm. You know, because the Lord can't even deal with you if your own spirit is not aligned and ruled in unison with Him through His Son. You know.
Yep.
That's gonna set the tone to make a woman want to come under you.
Yeah.
You know. Was it? Were you still reading, or who?
That was it.
I had that precept.
Yeah, we could just close out after, unless brothers. I don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, this is the last one. This time we're going to have Ephesians chapter 5, verse. We already get Ephesians 5?
Nah, we
okay.
good.
Ephesians chapter 5, verse 22. It says, "Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord."
Woo!
So that shows you that the women, just like how if they respect the Most High, then they're supposed to submit themselves under their husbands. Going back to the topic of the importance of the role of the father in the household.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The household doesn't operate properly if the wife isn't in submission under her own husband.
Right.
You know.
Right. You have disbalance in the household. You have a fracture if the woman's not under, because if you got division, then you can just overtake the household. The woman thinking she on the level when that's disarray, that's dysfunction, that's disorder.
And it says, "As unto the Lord." So
right.
Like
hey, Sarah called Abraham Lord.
Yeah, that's the spirit. I was just thinking that in my head. We are the lords over our women, man.
Yo, that
Lord
what's that
literally
scripture?
means master.
Matter of fact, somebody get that one. I don't know. I think it's in Timothy 2. The head of the woman is the man.
Woman means to serve.
Yeah, 1 Corinthians 11.
Okay.
A woman means to serve.
Right.
You know.
That's right.
They call it a womb man.
I got it.
A man with a womb. Fuck out of here, man.
But it seems like it's more aimed at us as far as destroying masculinity and honoring fathers, you know?
Yep.
It's really for Israel to keep us down, the aim that Esau is taking with this whole approach. And uplifting femininity. Because even these hardcore feminists, a lot of them married. They under a husband, man. These white women, they'll talk shit about all of this, but that's be a game.
Be a phase for white women in college. Really, it's just justification for them to get their freak on, and then when they get out of college or shoot, they sophomore or junior year, they're linking up with somebody.
Oh yeah.
And also, Esau Edom is eventually he's effeminate. So we into that type of shit.
Man, cuckold.
Oh,
We
yeah,
into
that's-
that type
That's
of
what
shit.
they be into.
Yeah, yeah, they
They call it cuckold.
swinging.
Swinging, cuckold.
You see?
They like
That's
that
another.
shit.
You
That's a
know.
whole nother topic.
Lady Jake, look, yeah.
I got that. Go ahead. 1 Corinthians 11, verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Hamashiach Yahushua.
Right, so it all starts right there. Yahweh Shah Hamashiach, you know, that's the head of the man.
And that word head goes into the chief,
Right,
if you will, or the posterity, the chief.
right.
The Ra'ash.
Right? The
Yeah, so
Ra'ash,
that's-
the head.
That's proud as hell because you have a lot of black women say that God is their husband. That's completely out of order, man.
Yeah, like, no, he ain't.
No, what the hell he ain't.
You know what I'm saying? Matter of
So
fact, let me get
basically,
that
you
right
putting a charge of adultery on the Most High.
Right.
That's off. For a woman that got a husband to proclaim that God their husband.
Right. Wait, they say, "Oh, I'm gonna wait for Jesus to come back." They be joking, but they say, "Oh, I'm
Nah,
gonna wait
they be
Jesus
for real.
to come back and ask him to marry me." Like,
But it'd be a slap in the face at the same time too if they actually got a husband too.
yeah. Well, they got many husbands, like
Right.
Howard said in John the 4th chapter.
Hey, that word head in the Greek is kephele, right? Kephele. And that word head means, it says metaphorically, anything supreme, chief, prominent, master, Lord. So we are the supreme. We are the supreme beings over our women, man.
Right.
But this society teaches you that it's backwards. This society teaches you that, well, no, actually the supreme being over the man is the woman.
Right.
Or actually, you know what? There is no supreme because both of y'all are equal.
Right. Y'all are life partners.
Yeah, y'all are supposed to just be equal together.
Right.
When that's not how the Lord set it up, right? It says, but I would have you know that the head of every man is Mashiach, which he is our supreme.
Mm-hmm.
It says, and the head or the supreme, the chief of the woman is the man.
Right. And the head or the chief of the woman,
The master.
the master, the Lord over the woman is the man.
Right.
And this is like this for a reason. It's not to be some oppressive, tyrannical rulership over the household, man, kicking over tables and all of that. It's for order. It's for enterprise, for legacy, inheritance, all of the things that we don't have as a nation. But it's coming back.
Go up to your job. Go up to your job and be like, you know what? I'm actually equal with the CEO. Matter of fact, no, you ain't the CEO. I'm actually over. You know what? No, we gonna be equal.
Yeah.
You gonna get your ass kicked the hell out.
Yeah. See
You
how
gonna
that
get
work
that
out.
cardboard box and your ass gonna be outside.
Right.
You know?
Was it the one that white box of the security guard?
Yeah, walking your ass out.
Egyptian mustard.
You know, and that's what the Lord gonna do. That's what the Lord gonna do to these women that don't want to submit. He gonna give you that cardboard box. He gonna give you your walking papers, man.
Yep.
You know,
So
it all stems back to the point, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
The fathers and the men really deserve, you know, the respect given, especially the men who are out here teaching.
that's what I want to add, that caveat, especially really it's first and foremost for the Israelite men, for the hopeful elect who walking in this truth, man. Those are the men who are worthy of that honor, you know, from women and anybody, man.
Right, straight up.
You know, as long as we honor Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, of course. So, you know, fathers matter. You know, the praise of men is coming back into the earth, man.
Yep.
So
Start with us standing on our feet.
exactly.
This truth is a big part of everything that's happening in the earth. You know, Kevin Samuels, all of these dudes.
Yeah.
Because when we first came on in 2007, we didn't have many. It was a few. Sergeant Willie P.
That's how I learned about the truth through Sergeant Willie P.
Sotomayor wasn't.
Nah,
when
he
first
wasn't.
came in.
It was like 2012 when he came
Yeah.
around.
Okay.
But Willie Pete was around like in 07, 08.
Right. And, you know, there wasn't really a presence of men hitting on women on the internet like that.
Mm-hmm.
But after, the apostles were really the first.
Right.
After, you know, I got to give Willie P his thing. I don't know where he at, but the apostles,
Really the apostles, yup.
so it's important.
Right. So men, we taking back our respect through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, not of our own power.
That's right.
You know, for order's sake. You know, because we always gotta say, man, we not no homosexuals or brothers. We're not eunuchs. We love women, but more importantly, we love women that are in order.
Yep.
Because we know the legacy of our forefathers and you know, and where we come from as a people and how things are supposed to be.
Yep.
So we expect better. So, any other closing points, precepts? Okay. Well, with all being said, Lord willing is edified. We want to give all praises to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakapadash.
We want to give double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom, peace and blessings to the elect. Until next time, shalom.
Shalom.